Toastmasters and fellow guests, good evening. I have actually got one other objective tonight, and that's to use pauses. Why, you ask, pauses? As well as being an effective public speaking device, it's also a favourite subject of my dear mentor, Andrew Tollington. So that's what I've come to here to speak to you about tonight. Not Andrew specifically, but mentoring and mentors. Why you should get one and be one. I will be speaking mostly in context of Toastmasters, where we give you a mentor to get you through your first 3 speeches. And once you get to 6 speeches, we encourage you to be a mentor. But obviously I'm trying to persuade you, and a lot of you in this room would already know and appreciate the merits of mentoring. So I'll be preaching to the converted. So I'm going to be trying to convince you to take some massive action to reinvigorate your mentoring relationships that currently exist. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to give you just a quick reminder of some of the benefits of mentoring. Then I'm going to go into some examples of mentoring in action, and then some barriers and how to overcome them. And hopefully by that point, you'll be ready to take this new action. So to get started, in terms of benefits of mentoring, firstly, to the obvious, to the mentee, the person being mentored. You're gaining knowledge and experience that someone else has to give. And in some cases, they spent years accumulating that. So that saves you time, money, and a lot of pain. So you know, it's a win-win for you basically. And also from the mentor's point of view, it's sometimes neglected. I know some of the mentors at Toastmasters sometimes think they have to do it, but there's also a lot to be gained there as well. And especially within the context of Toastmasters, because none of us are experts here. And in many cases, people joining, new joiners to the club are business people, are professionals. So it's more of a peer-to-peer mentoring scheme. So you stand to learn a lot from your mentors. And these, like I said, the people in this club, look around you. We've got PhD students join today. We've got someone who works in the bank. Even if they're not experts in public speaking per se, they've got areas of expertise in other areas that you can learn from. For example, my mentee Mun Fong, who's filming me, is a member of the King's College Impact Investing Society. So I haven't got any money to invest right now, but when I do, I'm sure Mun Fong will hook me up. Going to examples of mentoring in action, and speaking of being hooked up with money, Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook. His mentor was Steve Jobs, the late great Steve Jobs. When the company first started, they developed a relationship, used to meet up regularly, and Steve would talk to Mark about business and management decisions they should be making for Facebook. So and obviously that worked out well for Mark, didn't it? And then when Steve passed away in 2011, Mark wrote on his Facebook, "Steve, thank you for being a mentor and a friend. Thank you for showing me that what you build can change the world. I miss you." Now what that shows you is 2 things. One, even the highest of achievers, the top of the tops, they have mentors. And secondly, a mentoring relationship can develop into something deeper and more meaningful. The same thing is true of the opposite as well. You can have existing relationships that turn into mentoring relationships. For example, Richard Branson, another high achiever, he had a mentor in his uncle Jim. So he's already his uncle, he didn't choose him, he was his uncle. He became his mentor. And his uncle Jim told him something that stuck with him his whole life, and you'll see why in a minute. His uncle Jim told him, if you come up with an idea that everyone says is completely crazy, hold on to it, because it might just be genius. And that goes a long way to explaining why someone who had a successful record company would decide to start an airline. So that's a mentor having an impact on a career that you wouldn't even have known. Yeah. So now, speaking of crazy, you got to ask yourself, knowing all this that we know, knowing how beneficial mentoring can be for both the mentee and the person mentoring, why aren't we making more of this? Why aren't we making more of this resource that we have? And that's down to the barriers to mentoring, and I'll go through a couple of them now just to maybe debut some of them and give you tools to tackle them. One particular barrier outside Toastmasters would be that it's actually quite difficult to find a mentor and then work up the courage to ask them to help you. It feels a bit like, I'm just trying to be a freeloader here. But lucky for you, in Toastmasters, we help you out with that. We just give you a mentor. So problem over, obstacle overcome. A second obstacle can be time. I mean, I mentor a few people, and it's quite hard to find a time when you can both get together and do the whole thing. And I completely understand the value of face-to-face interactions, but if you haven't got the time, and that's your obstacle, no excuse. We live in a technological world. Get on Skype, get on WhatsApp, get on email, just do it, just get it done. Get the knowledge transferred whichever way possible. And the third and final barrier I'd like to highlight is one of expectations. Sometimes you don't quite know what to make of a mentoring relationship. As a mentor, you're like, do I really know that much? Can I really help this person? And as a mentee, you're thinking, oh, I don't really want to be a burden. I don't want to ask them loads of questions. They're just going to think I'm annoying. But it's just like any other relationship. You've got to work on it. Get together, have a conversation, even if it's via Skype. Set objectives, set boundaries. Work on it. Once you get started in a relationship, you'll soon see it's one of the most natural things on earth. Two people working together to create progress. Now there you go. I've given you some examples of mentoring in action, giving you some benefits of mentoring, and also some ways to overcome one or two barriers in mentoring. And I now hope that you feel that you can go on and call up your mentor, call up your mentee. If you haven't got a mentor, come and see me at the end and we'll sort you out with one if you're already a member, and make it happen. And just to finish off, I'd just like to remind you of the Mark Zuckerberg tribute to Steve Jobs. He said, Steve, thank you for being a mentor and a friend. Thank you for showing me that what you build can change the world. I believe mentors can change the world. So make sure you get one and then you be one. Thank you.